How's it going? Well, you're here to see whether a 35-year-old, I know I look a bit older, once divorced, had 3 kids in the first marriage, 2 in the current marriage, works a full-time job, just another guy that was born in 1990, played Pokémon Yellow, had a bit of a rough upbringing, which no need to go into really and bore you with that, but I'm not going to say it was the worst, but it wasn't the best. Let's leave it at that. And I found a safe space in Pokémon. Fast forward 35 years later on, the missus kind of convinces me and says, you should put that knowledge, that useless knowledge, quote unquote, to the test and try and make a business out of this. Why not? You know, took some inspiration from guys like Pokini, Brian, you should go check him out if you like that kind of stuff, business, and others, and my knowledge in general. I thought, you know what, I'm going to take the plunge, I'm going to give it a go. So we decided to start nearly 2 years ago now, Southern Light TCG, which is a small family-run business in Gibraltar, run by myself, run by her, and with the dream of eventually giving it to our kids or whatever. Just for context, this month so far, January, we've recorded 30 plus sales. I keep my profits tight in the business. The whole premise of the business in the first place was me creating a business that if I was a fan buying from a business, what would I be happy with if I found out what their profit and loss margins were, what their ethics were, etc. And I kept it at 15%. I will make anywhere between £5, maybe £15 at the max end on a more expensive product after taxes, after deductions, etc., etc., etc. And I was happy with that, and I would have been happy, more than happy actually, paying that to someone if I had found a business that I trusted. So that was part of the business premise. I wanted it to be something I was passionate about, which I always have been and I enjoyed, which is Pokemon. Something that I thought I could be the best at in the world, which, yeah, maybe a bit reaching far, but, you know, you've got to have some dreams, right? If not, I mean, Jesus, I'm going to be dead in about 50 years on average, and you probably are too. We've got to reach for something at some point, right? So that, and keeping it ethical. And when I mean ethical, I some of you are going to have your opinions, whether you're in the States or in the UK, about buying a product that already has a fan base like Pokemon and then trying to resell those items. But I'm out here in Gibraltar, small little overseas territory that borders with Spain. It's hard to get certain things here. I've actually started a bit of a craze because I was the first business in Gibraltar to bring Japanese and Asian Pokemon cards to Gib. Since then, more people have been bringing them out. That's just how it is, and don't need to start throwing names or shade. Quite the contrary. I think copying is the highest form of flattery. Moving on, back to what I was trying to talk about. So like I was saying, in January so far we've recorded about 30 sales. Now just for context, that's just under 0.1% of the population of Gibraltar, being about 40,000 people. Now, for comparison, I like to calculate, and we can call this dad math if you like, that if I had that kind of success in the UK, England, let's leave it at England, having a population of roughly 59.4 million, let's call it 60 million and round it up, that would be 60,000 clients. At the profit that I make a month off a person, even if I made only £5 a month off that person, which is realistic because someone could get a booster box a month, for example, and that would be, you can do the math if I had 60,000 clients, which I don't, and I may never will, but you get my point, right? And I was more than happy making that minimal amount because, trust me, there are YouTubers out there, there are other businesses out there, if this video serves you any context, I'm sure you can do your maths yourself, that will make a lot more from what they're selling. And listen, we can discuss the ethics of it all day, but I'm telling you now, people that seem to make it, quote unquote, instead of bringing it back down and doing the best by the fans and trying to help people and bring happiness to people, if you like, it seems to be doing the opposite. I'm not even going to throw shade or try and identify anyone because I don't know the numbers at the end of the day. I don't know the overheads of those people, but you know, I only run an online store. I don't actually have a physical store. I still have to pay for a storeroom, but regardless, my point being is, the point behind my business was always to keep it ethical, right? So back to where I was on the not feeling too great about it and being, you know, you got to pay for 5 kids, you got mortgages, you got loans, you've got whatever issues with the ex-partner maybe, or, you know, standard life throws at most people, right? And a full-time job, and you're thinking, Jesus, could I do this? Could I actually do this? Do I have the time in the day to do this? So if you're sat there, you're single or you've just got a partner or whatever, just do yourself a favor, man. Find out exactly what you are passionate about. And in today's day and age, the lucky thing is you can get a camera, you can get a mic like me, you can get whatever. And I'm not saying I'm a success story here. I'm not trying to be one. I just want to try and keep you in the loop of what I'm doing. But my point is, I want you along for this journey, and I want you to see if I can help just one person or two people, just find a little bit of extra motivation and think, damn, if Callum can do it, or he's trying to do it at least, with 5 kids, a full-time job, all sorts of issues, try and keep in shape as well. You know, I know I don't look the best, but I try and keep in shape. I'm trying better now. I'm trying more. Eat healthy, this and that, constant stresses. I'm sure you can find the time. I'm sure you can find the discipline, just that little internal voice inside that tells you, nah, I think you should go play one more game of League of Legends, or I think you should go read one more page of that book that's bringing nothing positive to your life, or I think you should take one more beer out of the fridge and crack it open. I think you should watch one more useless series of Love Island or whatever the hell you're watching, that you know brings, if you actually sit down and analyze it, that you know brings nothing positive to your life. I want you to be able to look at this channel, or look back on this channel at least, and think, you know what, I can do it. So my point is, if you are the kind of person enjoys Pokemon content, and I mean any type of Pokemon content, because I want to do all types of Pokemon content, enjoys honest, raw truth, because if the few people, the few friends that I do have could tell you who I am, one thing is definitely honest. One thing is definitely having no filter. A lot of the times, much to my detriment. But I choose to be true to myself in that sense. And a lot of the time, that gets me in trouble, fine. But it lets you figure out real quick who's really there to help you up, or who really supports you, or who really likes you. And if that's someone like you, then welcome to this channel, man. Stick around and let's create a community, some kind of community. Let's talk about the dream. The final dream, if you like, is doing this full-time, creating content full-time, working on the business full-time. I want to be the go-to guy for Asian Pokemon, any kind of TCG collectible products on the Costa del Sol, i.e. Jib and the Costa del Sol. I want to be that person because it's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about collecting. I appreciate all sorts of collectors, all sorts of backgrounds. I started with Pokemon, that's my passion. I've opened up already to the League of Legends Riftbound, and I appreciate any kind of collectibles that comes my way, or anyone that wants to talk about collectibles, whether it's Magic, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, whether it's Digimon, whether it's Demon Slayer, whether it's One Piece, whether it's Lorcana. I appreciate them all. And I love them all in their own way. And if I had more time to delve into those kind of things, I would. I just don't. I need to concentrate and crack on with what I'm doing right now. So yeah, that end goal is that. And being able to retire, I say retire, being able for me and my wife to work full time in something that we have a passion for, because life's too short. Like I said before, just on average alone, I'm 35 now. If I live to see 85, that's probably a good lifespan average for a man these days. I'm not sure what the average is, but you get my drift, right? And I'm not going to do it just working a job that I don't necessarily have a passion in. I appreciate it, but is my passion in it? Do I want to do it for life? Is it the thing that I feel that I have a purpose in, that I can leave what I believe to be a good person, some kind of imprint in the world? No, I don't. So this is what I'm doing. So on the business side of things, if you like Pokemon cards, Asian cards specifically, okay, so anything that's Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and you eventually think you could be a client of someone who only believes in putting it back into the community in some way, shape or form, of collectors, whilst looking after his family of 5 bloody children and a lovely wife, then you have come to the right place. You have landed at the correct channel. And then there's the gaming side of it too, which I love. I've always loved Pokemon games. I've never missed a single game. I'm hoping Gen 10 does big things. We'll be talking about that on the channel too. In summary, this is just a middle-aged guy trying to reinvent himself on a beach somewhere in Gibraltar, talking to a camera and hopefully talking to you, and just thinking, you know what? Let's see where this journey takes us. If you're struggling for motivation, just think that there's at least one guy trying to start a business from scratch whilst working full-time, with a wife and a lot of kids, that hasn't got a lot of time and wants to motivate you to do the same and motivate himself at the same time. So I'm self-preaching here. And on a more immature note, if you're that kind of guy too, who has a few kids, you feel that pressure of wanting to game with your friends when you get the odd chance, the rare chance where you feel the energy that you can play, and you're worrying if your kid's about to wake up or your missus is going to have a go for catching you gaming with the lads. That's another thing, ladies. Some of you may understand it because you gave me yourself, but some of you might not understand it. And this is a chance for the husbands to show you this video. That is therapy for us, right? That is literally therapy. You have no idea how much it takes the edge off my day being able to disappear into a game, speak to some friends, act extremely immaturely, because we still are all very immature in a sense. Guys, right? We love jumping on a video game and just making random ass noises, talking crap, laughing about stupid stuff. I mean, if half those conversations was recorded, you'd probably be thinking, Jesus, they have a combined IQ of a slug. No insult to slugs, I'm sure they have very high IQs, but you know what I mean, right? Just not a very high IQ. You gotta give that a rest, and let us do that, because I promise you that is therapy for us. So if you identify with that kind of guy too, you're just thinking he's just another guy like me who likes the cold beer now and then, likes a good gaming session, doesn't really like the outside world much anymore, and just wants to do better for his family, then this is also the place for you. Hopefully I get some time to stream some gaming material and just act like a bit of a twat. So I'm going to leave you at that from the lovely Gibraltar, Catalan Bay Beach. Callum Coros from Southern Light, TCG, southernlight.store, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video and you want to come along for the ride and you just think, you know what, that guy doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. Well, we'll see. See you later.